Hello. So, since this is the second session that we are having for percentage, before starting the session, let me just give you a quick recap of what we completed in the first session. So, talking about the first session that we had for percentage, we talked about the basics related to percentage, the basic words which are associated with percentage, their meanings, how to convert a fraction into percentage, and vice versa. So, this was the basics that we had in the first session. A quick recap of whatever we have covered so far in the first session. Then we talked about the words to understand their conversion, basic questions related to it, fraction to percentage conversion, percentage to fraction conversion was there. The entire fraction table is something that we discussed, and how we can learn the values is something that we discussed in the first session. We talked about the multiple of fraction getting converted into percentage and vice versa, like percentage into fraction and all. So this is something that we completed in the first session that we had. Going ahead with the second session, today we'll be talking about the formulas which are related to percentage. When we are talking in terms of formulas related to percentage, basically there'll be two formulas. And trust me for this, in case if we are understanding these two formulas properly, there's no need to mug up the upcoming formulas in the chapters like profit loss, the chapters like simple interest, compound interest. You'll be easily able to derive all the formulas by yourself in the upcoming chapters in case we are understanding the two formulas related to percentage properly. Because as I've told you, these are basically applications of percentage only. So if we are understanding percentage properly, there's a very high probability that we'll be able to understand the upcoming chapters easily. Starting with the first formula that we have related to percentage, the formula is given by percentage equals to dV upon VV into 100. Now the thing is, what is dV? So dV is your desired value, VV is your base value. Talking in terms of desired value, what do you actually mean by desired value? So look, what happens is when I'm talking in terms of, the word term desire. Desire means something that we want. So desired value is the value that we want. The value that we want is ultimately the value that is being asked to in the question. So ultimately desired value is the value that is being asked to in the question. जो भी वैल्यू आपसे क्वेश्चन में पूछ ली जाती है वो आपकी डिजायर्ड वैल्यू होती है because this is something you need to calculate. Talking about the base value. अच्छा, before coming to the concept of base value, a basic question is percentage absolute term or a relative term? Now, the first question is what is absolute and what is relative? So, talking in terms of being absolute and relative, absolute matlab something which is fixed, which is constant, which is not changing, which is the same throughout, is absolute. Relative matlab जो किसी और पे dependent हो, which varies as per the situation, which is varying, which is variable, which is not constant, right? So when I'm talking in terms of percentage, the big question is whether it's an absolute value or a relative value. So let me just quote some examples for that. Like suppose if I'll ask you to calculate 10% of 200, the answer is going to be 20. Perfect. In case if I'm asking you 10% of 400, the answer is going to be 40. In case if I'm asking you 10% of 600, the answer is going to be 60. So we need to observe, ये जो 10% का value है, is it a fixed value or is it varying? It's changing. Sometimes it's 20, it's 40, it's 60, it can be any other value. It's not necessary to be a fixed value. So percentage is always a relative value because ये किसी और पे dependent है. 10% of 200, ये actually 200 पे dependent है. 10% of 400, ये 400 पे dependent है. So basically percentage it's a relative term. If it's a relative term, तो जिस value पे ये dependent होता है, उस value को base value बोला जाता है. So for example, like suppose if I'm saying 10% of 200, 200 is the base value. Got it? So we got the term desired value, we got the term base value. Let's try to implement the same in one of the examples. The example is on the screen. The question is, marks obtained in an examination is 420 out of 500. I have to find the percentage of marks obtained. A very basic question. बचपन से अपन करते हैं, अपने को आता भी है, but still let me try to get the answer for this. देखिए पूछा क्या गया है, find the percentage. Question में they ask you find the percentage of marks obtained. मतलब according to me this is the value that they are asking in the question. Marks obtained. This should be your desired value. And marks obtained is 420. ये आपको पता है. So desired value हो गया 420. Clear है? अच्छा, you're calculating a percentage with respect to 500 because you are scoring 420 out of 500. So base value is going to be 500 into 100. ये एप्लीकेशन समझ में आया? इस वाले फॉर्मूले को एक्चुअली अप्लाई कैसे करते हैं क्वेश्चंस में? So I hope that's clear. ठीक है? And easily you can solve this, you'll get the answer for this. But the important thing is कि ये चीज आपको पहले से आती थी. There is nothing new about this formula. So what I have done is you were already aware of this formula. What all I have done is I have just given it a standard form so that you can apply it anywhere and everywhere. Earlier, it was restricted up to the calculation of percentage of marks only. Clear? Chalo. There's a very important note point that we need to take care before going ahead in the entire chapter of percentage. Chapter of percentage, पूरे chapter में अपने को एक point है जो अच्छी तरह याद रखना चाहिए, वो ये है कि in case of percentage, if the base value is not given to you, assume it to be. Look, what happens when I'm talking in terms of maths and a value is not given to in the question, what generally we do? We assume the value to be X. But when I'm talking in terms of something like percentage, in case if the base value is not given to you, it's a suggestion from my side, rather than assuming it to be X, you can assume it to be anyone, any guesses? Okay, so the correct answer is कि आप उसको x assume मत कीजिए, आप उसको 100 ले लीजिए. Any logics? Why 100? Again, just to make the calculation portion easy. So कैसे calculation easy होता है वो समझा देता हूं. मैंने आपसे बहुत complicated सा क्वेश्चन पूछा, 42.97% of 100. The answer is going to be 42.97 itself. So you don't need to calculate basically. सो परसेंटेज में 100 लेने का बेनिफिट ये होता है कि वो कैंसिल आउट हो जाता है और आपको वैल्यू कैलकुलेट नहीं करना पड़ता है. फॉर एनी अदर वैल्यू यू विल बी कैलकुलेटिंग द वैल्यूज. सो इट इज सजेस्टेड कि आप उसको 100 ले लीजिए. राइट? 100 लेने के बाद एक केस आता है जहां पे आपको रादर देन अज्यूमिंग इट टू बी 100, आप उसको 100x लेते हैं. अब कहां पे 100 लेना है, कहां पे 100x लेना है, दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द क्वेश्चन. इफ देयर इज नो कांस्टेंट इन द क्वेश्चन, we'll go with 100. If there is some constant in the question, we'll go with 100x. अभी constant क्या होता है सबसे पहली बात? So we need to understand. Look, constant मतलब something which is fixed, which is not changing, which is the same throughout, which is not varying, is constant, which is absolute. और जो vary करता रहता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं? That's known as variable, right? So when I'm talking in terms of percentage, is it a constant value or a variable one? It's a variable, right? So till the time percentage it's variable, till the time we are having all the data given to in the question in terms of percentage only with no other numerical data or constant value given to in the question. जब तक आपको क्वेश्चन में जो भी डेटा दे रखा है वो सब कुछ परसेंटेज के टर्म्स में है, उसके अलावा कोई भी न्यूमेरिकल या कांस्टेंट वैल्यू क्वेश्चन में नहीं दे रखी है, मतलब देयर इज नो कांस्टेंट इन द क्वेश्चन, विल गो विद 100. As soon as you'll find some other numerical data apart from percentage, मतलब there is some constant in the question, you'll go with 100x. ये समझ में आया 100 कहां लेने का है, 100x कहां लेने का है? चलो ठीक है. जस्ट टू गेट क्लैरिटी अबाउट इट, वी कैन डू वन थिंग, अपन कई क्वेश्चंस ट्राई करके देख लेते. सो यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि 100 कहां लेना है, 100x कहां लेना है. प्लीज ओपन योर शीट. यू हैव टू ओपन शीट नंबर 2. अपना शीट सेकंड ओपन कीजिए परसेंटेज का जो मैंने आपको फॉरवर्ड कर रखा है. इसमें चेक कीजिए वन बाय वन. सबसे पहले आप चेक करेंगे क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. रीड द क्वेश्चन. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज all about percentage. Can you find any numerical data except percentage in the question? No. There is no other numerical data except percentage. Every data is in terms of percentage only. There is no constant. You will go with 100. Question number 3 के बाद देखिए क्वेश्चन नंबर 8. Read the question. Can you find some numerical data except percentage in the question? Yes, there is a constant value 1305. So since there is a numerical data or constant value given to in the question, we'll go with 100x rather than going with 100. So I hope that's clear कि 100 कहाँ लेना है, 100x कहाँ लेना है, जहाँ पे परसेंटेज के अलावा और कोई भी न्यूमेरिकल डेटा नहीं हो, मतलब there is no constant in the question, you go with 100. As soon as you'll find some other numerical data except percentage in the quotient, there is a constant value in the quotient, we'll go with 100x. ऐसा कर क्यों ना उसका भी एक बार क्लैरिटी ले लेते हैं ताकि we don't get stuck in the future questions. Look, when I'm talking in terms of question number 3, I'm assuming the man has got a total income of 100 rupees. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. Do you have any contradictions with it? No. उसका टोटल इनकम 100 रुपए था, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 8 में अगर मैं ऐसा बोलता हूं कि मनीलाल के पास टोटल 100 रुपीज था, इज इट जस्टिफाइड? नो, बिकॉज स्पेंडिंग आफ्टर स्पेंडिंग सम मनी ही स्टिल लेफ्ट विद 1305. अगर उसके पास 100 रुपए था तो खर्च करने के बाद 1305 रुपीज कैसे बच सकता है? दैट इज प्रैक्टिकली इम्पॉसिबल. दैट्स व्हाई वी आर अज्यूमिंग द वैल्यू टू बी 100x rather than 100 ताकि वो कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस ना हो. I hope I'm clear कि 100 कहां लेना है, 100x कहां लेना है और क्यों लेना है. If it is clear, let's go ahead. एक बार रीड कीजिए क्वेश्चन नंबर 10, जल्दी से जस्टिफाई कीजिए 100 या 100x. क्वेश्चन नंबर 10 सेम शीट, it's a 100x. क्वेश्चन नंबर 11 सेम शीट, it's a 100. क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 सेम शीट, it's a 100x. Right? So you're getting it कि 100 कहां लेना है, 100x कहां लेना है. I hope you have a clarity about it. So I guess you must have taken a note of the screen visible. Let's go ahead with it. Going ahead. Abhi, what I'll be doing is I'll be giving you a question. And trust me, I'm not going to give you any approach for this. Directly you have to try to solve the question by your own. आपको खुद को try करके देखना है आप कैसे कर सकते हैं. Later on we'll discuss. So I will be displaying the question. You can pause the video for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Try to take out your own answer. Try to get the correct answer. Try to get a solution. After that, we'll discuss. So the question is on the screen. You can pause the video for 2 minutes. Come back and let's check out the answer together. Okay, so hopefully you must have solved the question by now. First of all, let's check out the answer. The correct answer for this question is 20%. If you have got an answer, be happy about it. If not, nothing to worry about. Even if you have got the correct answer, let's try to discuss the approach because that is more important. देखिए, answer निकालना it's not a big deal. वो आप निकाल सकते हो. Approach ज़्यादा matter करता है. So let's try to figure out the approach for this. देखिए, मैंने लास्ट सेशन में भी आपको समझाया था कि जब भी मैथ्स का क्वेश्चन है तो कभी भी उसको एक साथ पूरा रीड मत कीजिए. प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है, पूरा एक साथ रीड करने में बहुत सारा डेटा आ जाता है, अपने को नहीं चाहिए. सो वील ट्राई टू ब्रेक द क्वेश्चन इनटू स्मॉल 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 पार्ट्स, स्टार्टिंग विद दिस. If A's income is 25% more than B, you have read the line. Can you just let me know the meaning of this line? Okay, the meaning is A's income is 25% more than B. यानी A की जो इनकम है वो B की इनकम से 25% ज्यादा है. अगर ऐसा है तो जस्ट नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड A की इनकम B पे डिपेंडेंट हुई या B की इनकम A पे? इट्स A's इनकम व्हिच इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन B. A की इनकम B पे डिपेंडेंट. तो पहले B पता चलना चाहिए, पहले A की इनकम पता चलनी चाहिए. ऑब्वियसली B की, बिकॉज A की इनकम B पे डिपेंडेंट है. जब B की इनकम पता चलेगी तभी अपन A की इनकम निकाल सकते हैं. तो पहले B की इनकम पता करते हैं. B का इनकम आपको क्वेश्चन में दे रखा है? नहीं, नहीं दे रखा तो अज्यूम करेंगे. कितना अज्यूम करेंगे? 100. अभी बताया था व्हेनेवर यू हैव टू अज्यूम अ वैल्यू, अज्यूम इट टू बी 100. तो मैंने मान लिया B का इनकम 100 था, A का इनकम उससे 25% ज्यादा था. कितना हो गया? वेरी सिंपल आंसर, 125. परसेंटेज इक्वल्स टू डिजायर्ड अपॉन बेस इनटू 100. डिजायर्ड वैल्यू यानी वो वैल्यू जो आपसे क्वेश्चन में पूछी गई है. सो लेट्स चेक इट आउट. बाय हाउ मच परसेंटेज? क्वेश्चन में क्या पूछा गया? बाय हाउ मच परसेंटेज बीज इनकम लेस देन ए. ये वैल्यू क्वेश्चन में पूछी गई है. बी की इनकम कितने रुपए कम है? बी की इनकम थी 100 रुपए, ए की इनकम थी 125 रुपए. कितने रुपए कम हुई? 25 रुपीज कम है. किससे कम है? नाउ थिंक अबाउट इट. यू आर कंपेयरिंग बीज इनकम. बी की इनकम किससे कम हो सकती है? A से. So base value should have been 125 because you are comparing it with A into 100. Again, the same method that we discussed in the last class. 100 को touch नहीं कीजिए. Operate on this. This is 1 by 5. If you remember the value of 1 by 5, that's 20% and it's the correct answer for this. I hope I'm clear with this. If you have any kind of doubts, you can just रिवाइंड द वीडियो, थोड़ा सा वापस से देखिए, फिर भी डाउट है यू कैन आस्क मी द नेक्स्ट डाउट सेशन दैट विल हैव, बट आई होप दैट शुड बी क्लियर. इट्स अ वेरी बेसिक क्वेश्चन, right? Going ahead, if it is clear to you, you should be able to solve the next question. So I'm displaying the next question on the screen. Try to get me the answer quickly. The question is, if A's income is 40% less than B, then by how much percent is B's income more than A? Again, the same procedure. Pause the video, take a break for 2 minutes, solve the question, get back and check the answer. Again, so I hope you must have solved the question by now. आपने वीडियो पॉज करके अभी तक आंसर निकाल लिया होगा. The correct answer, you can just take it out. The correct answer is 66.66%. Let's try to figure it out कि करना कैसे है. Again, word by word चलना, भागना नहीं है. Not in a hurry. If A's income is 40% less than B, तो अगेन ए की इनकम बी पे डिपेंडेंट है. पहले बी की इनकम अज्यूम कर लेता हूँ 100 रुपीज. ए की इनकम उससे 40% कम है, मतलब 60 रुपीज होगी. यहां तक कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Going ahead, then by how much percent is B's income more than A? क्वेश्चन में क्या पूछा गया है? बी की इनकम कितने रुपए ज्यादा है? देखो, बी की इनकम थी 100, ए की थी 60. कितने रुपए ज्यादा है? 40 रुपीज ज्यादा है. किससे ज्यादा है? बी की इनकम ज्यादा है ए से. यू आर कंपेयरिंग इट विद ए, सो बेस वैल्यू शुड बी ए, दैट 60 into 100. कोई दिक्कत? Forgetting about 100, this is 0 से 0 cancel. 2 by 3. As I remember, 1 by 3 is 33.33%. 2 by 3 will be double of it, which is going to be 66.66%. So the correct answer is 66.66% for this question. I hope that's clear to you. We can go ahead with the next question. Okay, going ahead, the next question is on the screen. If A's income is 50% more than B, then by how much percent is B's income less than A? Again, the same procedure. Pause the video, get the solution, get the answer, and then we'll check it. Take a photo. Okay, so I hope you must have paused the video and must have solved it by now. The correct answer for this question is 33.33%. Let's check it out कि हो कैसे रहा है. A's income is 50% more than B. B की इनकम भी 100 रुपीज, ए उससे 50% ज्यादा है, मतलब ए की इनकम हो गई 150 रुपीज. By how much percent is B's income less than A? B की इनकम कितना है? 50 रुपीज कम है. किससे कम है? 150 से कम है, into 100. This is 1 by 3. 1 by 3 is 33.33%. That should be the correct answer for this question. So I hope this type of question is clear to you. I guess we can remove the solution and can go ahead with the next question. So it's a different variety of question. If side of a square increases by 20%, find the percentage change in its area. Again, pause the video, take a 2-minute halt, try to solve the question, get back and check your answer. Okay, I guess we can discuss. The most probable answer for this is 20%. The most probable answer for this is 16.66% or something else, right? But both the answer are wrong. First of all, the correct answer is 44%. Secondly, how we are getting the answer, पहले वो देखते हैं. देखिए, आप क्या कर रहे हो? 100 से 120, तो 120 से 20, 20 upon 120 into 100, 1 by 6 गलत है. We need to understand. We don't need to mug up. अपने को रटना नहीं है. We need to understand. If side of a square increases by 20%, भागना नहीं है, line by line, word by word. Side पहले 100 थी, it increases by 20%. Now it should be 120. They're asking you the percentage change in area. Look, एरिया में चेंज पूछा गया है. जब तक एरिया ही नहीं पता, एरिया में चेंज कैसे निकालूंगा? So I cannot get the answer for this. So what I'll do is, सबसे पहले मेरे को पता होना चाहिए, what is the formula for calculating area of a square? Side into side. So when the side is 100, area is going to be 10,000. When the side is 120, area is going to be 12 का square. It's 144,000. So area आपका पहले 10,000 था, अभी हो गया 14,400. एरिया में चेंज कितना हो गया? सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है. 4,400 का चेंज है. चेंज कौन सी वैल्यू पे? 10,000, बिकॉज 14,400 is the value obtained after the change has taken place. So it's a 4,400 का change applicable on 10,000 into 100. 0,000. Answer is 44%. Clear? So I hope that's clear. We can go ahead with the next one. Next question. If side of a square increases by 20%, find percentage change in its perimeter. अब perimeter में change बताना है. Again, pause the video. It's a very simple question since you have solved the previous one. I don't feel like it's going to be a problematic situation for you to solve this question. Try to get the answer quickly. Pause the video, take a 2-minute halt, solve the question, get back. Okay. So I hope you must have solved the question and must have got the correct answer. The correct answer is 20%. We'll just check it out. करना कैसे? If side of a square increases by 20%. Side पहले 100 था, अब कितना हो गया? 120. I have to find the percentage change in its perimeter. What is the formula for calculating perimeter of a square? That's 4 into side. Since the side is 100, 4 into side will be 400. This is the perimeter. Since the new side is 120, perimeter will be 480. When I'm talking about the percentage change in perimeter, I can say 400 से 480 हो गया. There is a change of 80 and the change is taking place over 400 into 100. This is 1 by 5. 1 by 5 का value, if you remember, you'll get the correct answer is 20%. Clear है? So percentage change in perimeter will going to be 20% only, right? We can have one more variety of question based on the same concept. Okay. So the next question is on the screen. If length of a rectangle increases by 40% and breadth reduces by 10%, find the percentage change in area. Pause the video, try to solve it, get back and check the answer. So I hope you must have solved the question by now. Let's try to figure it out. करते हैं कोशिश. Look, length of a rectangle increases by 100%. देखो सबसे बड़ा कंफ्यूजन जो स्टूडेंट्स के दिमाग में रहता है वो यहाँ पे ये रहता है कि सर कैन आई अज्यूम द लेंथ एंड ब्रेड्थ ऑफ द रेक्टेंगल टू बी इक्वल, बिकॉज इन केस इफ इट इज सो इट विल बी ए स्क्वायर. सो लेट मी फिगर आउट दिस कि अगर आप लेंथ और ब्रेड्थ इक्वल लेते हैं देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग अबाउट इट, बिकॉज एवरी स्क्वायर इज अ रेक्टेंगल. तो जो भी स्क्वायर होगा वो रेक्टेंगल की प्रॉपर्टीज को फॉलो करेगा ही करेगा. सो इट वोंट गोना मेक एनी डिफरेंसेस if I'm assuming the values to be same or different. So I'm assuming length of the rectangle to be 100. After increment, it became 140. I'm assuming breadth of the rectangle to be 100. After reduction of 10%, it became 90. What is the formula for calculating area of rectangle? Because the change is being asked upon in the area, I need to calculate area. Area of rectangle is given by length into breadth. So for this case, when the length is 100, breadth is 100, area is going to be 10,000. For this case, when the length is 140, breadth is 90, area is going to be 12,600. So you can just see the area was 10,000, now it's 12,600. They're asking the change in area, that's going to be 2,600. 10,000 से 12,600 हो गया, 2,600 यानी 2,600 का इंक्रीमेंट है एरिया में. एंड जो इंक्रीमेंट हो रहा है ये हो रहा है 10,000 के ऊपर. Again, I'll solve, I'll get the answer is 26%. I hope that's clear to all. We can go ahead with the next question. Let me remove the solution for this. Going ahead with the next one. Same question, length increases by 40%, breadth by 10%. Have to find the percentage change in perimeter. Again, a 2-minute halt. Pause the video, solve your question, get the answer, and we'll check. ओके, सो आई बिलीव आप लोगों ने अभी तक क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लिया होगा. लेट्स चेक आउट द आंसर. द आंसर इज 15%. This is the answer that majority of you must be getting. I'm so sorry to say, but this is a wrong answer. 15% is a wrong answer. हो सकता है किसी का 6.66% आ रहा हो. That's again a wrong answer. किसी का 20% आ रहा हो. That's again a wrong answer. किसी का 14.75% आ रहा हो. That's again a wrong answer. ये सारे वो मोस्ट प्रोबेबल आंसर्स है जनरली स्टूडेंट्स के आते हैं और ये सारे आंसर्स गलत है. नाउ वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि प्रॉब्लम क्या है. लोग यार इतने सारे बच्चों के 15% आ रहा है, मतलब लॉजिकली देयर कैन नॉट बी एनी कैलकुलेशन एरर. कैलकुलेशन एरर इतने सारे बच्चों का हो जाए और सबका सेम वैल्यू आ जाए, इसके चांसेस बहुत कम हैं. सो कैलकुलेशन एरर तो नहीं है, मतलब कॉन्सेप्चुअल एरर है. अभी कॉन्सेप्चुअल एरर क्या है पहले ये समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. जस्ट टेल मी वन थिंग. Is it a rule that you have to assume the value to be 100, or is it by my convenience that I am assuming the value to be 100? It's for my convenience. मेरे कन्वीनियंस के लिए मैंने वैल्यू को 100 ले लिया, और कल को मेरी इच्छा हो कुछ और वैल्यू लेने की, आई कैन टेक इट, नो इश्यूज. चलो ठीक है. सो मैं एक एग्जांपल लेके बताता हूँ. पहले लेंथ 100 था, ब्रेथ भी 100 था. अब मैं ले रहा हूँ लेंथ को 100 और ब्रेथ को 10. आपको कोई दिक्कत? नो. Length after increment 140, breadth after decrement 90. Length after increment in this case 140, breadth after decrement in this case 9. यहां तक किसी को दिक्कत हुई? नहीं हुई. So let's try to calculate first change in area. Although we are done with it, but still we try करते हैं. Area 10,000, it is 12,600. When I'm talking in terms of percentage change in area, that's going to be 2,600 over 10,000 into 100. When I'll solve this, I'll get the answer as 26%. Let me try to get the answer over this case. 1000 into 100 into 10,000, 140 into 9, 1260. There is a change of 2260 over 1000 into 100, which again turns out to be 26% only. You're getting it? Irrespective of the value that I'm assuming for length and breadth, in the two cases being different, I am getting the same percentage change in both the cases. मतलब ये जो परसेंटेज चेंज इन एरिया है, ये एक्चुअली लेंथ और ब्रेथ पे डिपेंडेंट ही नहीं है. आपकी जो इच्छा है लेंथ और ब्रेथ का वैल्यू पुट कीजिए, you'll get the answer accordingly and the answer is going to be same in all the cases. चलो ठीक है, यहां तक समझ में आ गया. अब पेरीमीटर की बात कर लेते हैं इसी में. पेरीमीटर फर्स्ट केस में 100 प्लस 100 200 का डबल 400, बिकॉज पेरीमीटर ऑफ रेक्टेंगल का फॉर्मूला होता है ट्वाइस ऑफ एल प्लस बी. It is 140 and 90, 230, double 460. So when I'm talking in terms of percentage change in perimeter, there is an increment of 60 on 400 into 100, which turns out to be 15%, which is the correct answer that majority of you are getting. I hope you must have applied the same formula. यही method आपने लगाया होगा, and that's why you are getting the answer as 15%. मैं एक छोटा सा काम करता हूँ, मैं यहाँ पे भी एक बार निकाल के देख लेता हूँ. पेरीमीटर 110, because 110 उसका डबल 220. 140 and 9, 149, उसका डबल 290. So when I'm talking in terms of percentage change in perimeter, that's going to be 78 over 220 into 100. And it may be any value, but I'm just sure of one thing कि ये 15% तो नहीं है. जब ये 15% नहीं है, it laid the foundation of entire concept. अब इसको बहुत ध्यान से, बहुत आराम से, ढंग से सुनना एक बार. देखिए, पेरीमीटर के केस में जैसे ही मैंने वैल्यू को वेरी किया, मेरा आंसर वेरी कर गया है. मतलब जो मेरा आंसर है परसेंटेज चेंज इन पेरीमीटर का, दैट शुड बी डिपेंडेंट ऑन द वैल्यूज. एंड इफ इट इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द वैल्यूज, you cannot determine the answer because the actual length and breadth are not given to in the question. So the correct answer for this question is going to be cannot be determined. Is that clear? Great. Look, you must have taken a screenshot for this, removing it. एक बात आपको क्लैरिटी से समझ में आना जरूरी है. ये तो अच्छा है कि समझ में आ गया कि पेरीमीटर डिटरमाइन नहीं कर सकते. द बिगर क्वेश्चन इज क्यों नहीं कर सकते? What is the basic logic behind it? Why we cannot determine the percentage change in perimeter of rectangle when we can calculate the percentage change in area of rectangle? Even we can calculate the percentage change in perimeter of a square, but not for rectangle. Not being justified. Let us try to understand the concept behind it. I'm just writing down the formulas. It's a square, it's a rectangle, it's a length, it's an area, it's a perimeter. So for a square, area is side into side. For rectangle, it's L into B. For perimeter of a square, it's 4 into side. For it is twice of L plus B. Just go through the four formulas. Try to figure out the reason why we are unable to calculate the percentage change in perimeter of a rectangle. I hope you must have identified it. Addition. ये नहीं करना. एडिशन में क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है? बिकॉज देखिए यहाँ पे मल्टीप्लीकेशन था, यहाँ पे मल्टीप्लीकेशन था, यहाँ पे मल्टीप्लीकेशन था. दिस इज द ओनली केस जहां पे एडिशन आ गया, और जैसे ही एडिशन आ गया आंसर बन गया कैन नॉट बी डिटरमाइंड. अब ऐसा क्यों? उसका लॉजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशन देता हूं, देखिएगा. 10 into 2 is 20. If one is moving from 10 to 20, can I say there's a 100% increment in it? Similarly, 100 into 2, 200. If a person is moving from 100 to 200, can I say it's a 100% increment in it? Now we need to understand multiplication के case में, whether you are taking the initial value to be 100 or 10 or any other value, your answer remains the same. मतलब in case of multiplication and division, the answer is independent of the initial value that you are taking. Addition में देखते हैं, 10 plus 2 is 12, मतलब it's a 20% increment. 100 plus 2 is 102, मतलब it's a 2% increment. You can just check it out कि एडिशन के केस में जैसे ही मैंने इनिशियल वैल्यू को वैरी किया, मेरा आंसर वैरी कर गया है. मतलब जो मेरा आंसर है वो एक्चुअली वैल्यूज पे डिपेंडेंट है. एंड टिल द टाइम वी आर नॉट हैविंग द वैल्यूज विद अस, वी कैन नॉट डिटरमाइन द आंसर. So I hope it's clear कि multiplication division में we don't need the values and we can get the answer easily. Addition subtraction में we will be requiring the values, and without values we cannot get the answer. Going ahead, the next one. Okay. The next formula is price into consumption equal to expenditure. Let me just give you an example for this. Suppose you are going to the market and you want to purchase some chocolates from the market. One of the chocolate is costing you ₹40 and you bought 5 such chocolates. So what is the total expenditure that you had? Let's try to check it out. 40 रुपीज की एक चॉकलेट थी, आपने 5 चॉकलेट खरीदी, आपका टोटल खर्चा हो गया 200 रुपए का. Now need to understand how we are calculating it. Price was 40, consumption was 100. We multiplied the two values, we got our expenditure. We need to understand price into consumption is equal to expenditure. Going ahead, let's have a question based on this concept. The question is on the screen. If price increases by 20% and consumption reduces by 20%, find the percentage change in expenditure. So all of you may pause the video, may try to solve the question as we did it earlier in the previous slides of this session only. We'll check it out. We'll check out the answer at the end. Okay, so I hope you must have solved it. Let's try to get the answer. The correct answer is 4% decrement. I hope majority of you must have got the correct answer, but still let me discuss. Price initially was 100, increases by 20%. 120 हो गया. Consumption initially was 100, decreases by 20%. 80 रह गया. यहां तक कोई दिक्कत? Expenditure is the product of price and consumption, so it will be 10,000 in this case. 12 8 96, so it will be 9600 in this case. Can I say there is a decrement of 400 in expenditure on a value of 10,000? So it's a 4% decrement in expenditure. I hope that's clear, everyone. Chalo. So removing the solution and going ahead with the question. Question next is on the screen. If price increases by 25%, find percentage change in consumption to keep expenditure constant. Again, pause the video, solve it, get back and check the answer. Okay, so hopefully you must have solved the question by now. Let's check out the answer for this. The correct answer for this question is going to be 20%. कैसे आएगा वो चेक कर लेते हैं एक बार. देखो, price increases by 25%. Initially it was 100, now it is 125. Consumption पता नहीं चेंज कितना हुआ है, 100 ले लेता हूं, अभी पता नहीं, जाने देने का. एक्सपेंडिचर, अच्छा, when the price is 100, consumption is 100, your expenditure is going to be 10,000. And to keep expenditure constant, matlab you have to keep it to be 10,000 again. हाँ या ना? So if it is clear, can I say price into consumption equal to expenditure? 125x equal to 10,000. I'll solve 10,000 upon 125. I'll get the value of x as 80. मतलब कंजम्पशन आपका पहले 100 था और अभी वो 80 हो गया. They are asking you the change in consumption. Can I say there is a change of 20 over 100 into 100, which is going to be 20%. So 20% is the correct answer for this question. Okay, I hope that's clear. Going ahead with the next one. If price increases by 20%, find percentage change in consumption to be if expenditure increases by 8%. Again, pause the video, take a 2-minute halt, solve the question, come back and check the answer. Okay, so I hope you must have solved the answer by now. The correct answer is 10%. We'll just figure it out. जल्दी से देखते हैं. पर price था 100, increased by 20%, 120. Consumption था 100, अब पता नहीं कितना हो गया. No issues. Expenditure था 10,000. Expenditure increases by 8%. What is 8% of 10,000? Can I say it is 800? And if your expenditure increases by 800, earlier it was 10,000, now it should be 10,800. As per the rule, price into consumption is expenditure. So when I'll calculate X, it is 10800 upon 120, which turns out to be 90. So X is 90. Since the consumption earlier was 100, now it is 90. There is a change in consumption of 10 over 100 into 100, which is 10%. So the correct answer is a 10% change in consumption. So I hope we have discussed sufficient questions based on the concept of percentage. Formula 1, percentage equals to desired upon base into 100. Now what you need to do is, you have already solved the questions that I've asked you to. इसके अलावा we'll find many of the questions in sheet 1 के अलावा 2, 3, 4, 5 में. You need to go through those questions. You need to select the questions. You need to solve the question. Please complete the sheets. Come up with the doubts in the next session. I'm just specifying the questions that you have to solve. Sheet 1, you have to complete it all. Sheet 2, you have to solve it all except question number 6 and 7. Sheet 3, you have to solve it all except question number 1, 2, 9, 12, 13. Sheet 4, you have to solve it all except question number 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 19, 28. Sheet 5, you have to solve it all except question number 5, 11, 15. So this is something you have to complete. Sheet 1, it's already done, mere hisab se. So you have to solve the remaining questions as I have specified. You have to complete all the sheets except the questions that I have specified. This was the second session that we had for percentage, and I hope I have made the things clear to you. It was made more about the first formula related to percentage. In the coming session that we'll have as session 3 for percentage, we'll be discussing the second formula related to percentage. So by now, winding up the session, we have completed session 2 with percentage formula 1. I have asked you to solve some of the questions. Please complete the sheets, come up with the doubts in the next session, and we'll continue with it. Thank you so much.